Lots of tech founders want to build the next ChatGPT, the next Midjourney, a billion-dollar app powered by pure intelligence. But here's a secret the venture capitalists won't tell you. 99% of these brilliant ideas are doomed to fail before they even write a single line of machine learning code. And it's not because their idea is bad or their team isn't smart enough. It's because of a silent killer that bankrupts most AI startups before they even get off the ground. The cost of thinking. Every time a user clicks generate, it costs real money. Get that calculation wrong, and you're finished. So, how do the winners do it? How do they build apps that feel like magic, but don't cost a fortune to run? They follow a specific 4-phase journey, a blueprint that turns a simple idea into an intelligent, defensible empire. This is that blueprint, and it all starts not with an advanced algorithm, but with a clever deception.
The biggest mistake you can make is falling in love with the technology. Starting with, I want to use a large language model is a recipe for disaster. The successful founders start with a simple, high-value problem, something tedious, repetitive, or difficult for humans. Like a sales team wasting 10 hours a week writing personalized follow-up emails. The key question is, would solving this with AI be 10 times better than any other solution? If the answer is yes, you've found your starting point. But you still don't build the AI, not yet. First, you need to define what's called the minimum viable intelligence, or MVI. This isn't some super genius AI that can do everything. It's the absolute dumbest, simplest version of your AI that can still create a wow moment for the user. For our sales app, the MVI isn't a complex AI sales coach. It's just a tool that can take 3 bullet points from a meeting and generate one single, pretty good follow-up email. That's it. And here's the secret weapon of this phase. You fake it. It's called the Wizard of Oz test. You build a simple interface, and when a user submits a request, you or a team member manually do the work in the background and send the result back. The user thinks they're interacting with a brilliant AI, but they're really just talking to a person behind a curtain. This feels like cheating, but it's genius. It allows you to test your entire product idea, the user experience, the value, the demand, in a matter of days, not months, and for virtually zero cost. You're validating the magic trick before you spend a year building the magic box. But faking it can only get you so far. Once you've proven people actually want what you're offering, you have to build the real thing. And this is where you create the initial spark that will either ignite a fire or fizzle out into nothing.
This is the MVP, or minimum viable product phase. The goal here is speed. You're not building your own complex AI models. That's a suicidal mission at this stage. You use a powerful off-the-shelf model through an API, like GPT-4 or Claude 3. Your entire focus is on getting a working product into the hands of a small group of passionate users as fast as possible. But building an AI native app requires a completely different approach to user experience. Traditional software is deterministic. You click a button, the exact same thing happens every time. AI is probabilistic. It's creative, unpredictable, and sometimes just plain weird. So you have to design for imperfection. This means giving the user control. A regenerate button is essential, an edit button is a must, and most importantly, a simple thumbs up, thumbs down feedback mechanism. This isn't just for user satisfaction. As we'll see later, this feedback is the most valuable currency you can collect. You also have to design for latency. Waiting 5 seconds for a response feels broken, but if you stream the text out word by word like ChatGPT does, it feels like a conversation. It turns a bug, slowness, into a feature, interactivity. Your goal isn't to launch a perfect, all-knowing oracle. It's to launch a tool that 100 true fans absolutely love, even with its quirks. Getting those first 100 fans is a huge milestone, but those fans and their simple thumbs-up clicks are actually just the raw material for the most powerful engine in any AI company, a concept that creates an almost unfair advantage, the data flywheel.
Imagine a small snowball at the top of a very long, snowy hill. The data flywheel is the AI native version of that snowball. It starts small, but once it gets going, its momentum becomes nearly unstoppable. Here's how it works. 1. A user interacts with your app. They get a result they don't like, so they edit it or hit regenerate, and then thumbs up the better version. 2. You collect that feedback. You now have a high-quality data point. This input should not produce that output, it should produce this better output. 3. This data is used to fine-tune your AI model. You're essentially training it on its own mistakes and successes, making it progressively smarter and more tailored to your specific use case. 4. The improved model provides a better experience for all users. The app becomes more useful, more magical, This attracts more users, who in turn provide more data, which makes the model even smarter. This loop is the moat. This is the defense. A competitor could copy your user interface tomorrow. They could use the exact same base AI model from OpenAI, but they cannot buy or replicate the thousands of hours of unique user interactions and feedback that your Flywheel has collected. Your app isn't just a product anymore, it's a learning system that gets smarter with every single click. But this powerful engine is useless if the car it's in is fundamentally unprofitable. And that brings us to the most brutal make or break phase of the journey, figuring out how to actually make money without going bankrupt from your own AI's thinking car.
This is where the dream meets the spreadsheet. In any business, you need your customers' lifetime value, the LTV, to be greater than the cost to acquire them, the CAC. But AI apps have a third, terrifying variable, the cost of goods sold, or COGS. This is the API and server cost of every single AI generation. It's that silent killer we talked about. If your user pays you $20 a month, but their activity on the app costs you $25 in API calls, you have a very popular charity, not a business. You are literally paying people to use your product. This is the single biggest reason AI startups die after raising millions. They build something people love, but it's economically impossible to sustain. So, how do you tame this beast? First, through relentless optimization. This is where you might graduate from using a generic expensive model like GPT-4 for everything. You can use the data from your Flywheel to fine-tune a smaller, open-source model that is 95% as good for your specific task, but costs 10 times less to run. You become an expert in prompt engineering, figuring out how to get the same or better results from the AI using fewer words and less processing power. You start charging customers, validating that the value you provide is something they're willing to pay for. You are now obsessed with one formula. Is the value created for the customer greater than the cost incurred by their usage? Once your unit economics are healthy and your data flywheel is spinning, you've escaped startup death. Now you face a new, better problem: scaling. How do you go from 100 paying customers to 10,000 without the whole system collapsing under its own weight? Scaling an AI-native app isn't just about buying more servers. It's about building an industrial-grade factory floor for your intelligence. This is the world of MLOps, machine learning operations. It's the boring, unsexy, but absolutely vital machinery that runs a mature AI company. This means having systems to A/B test a new prompt against an old one to see which performs better. It means constantly monitoring your AI's performance to make sure it isn't getting dumber or developing weird biases over time, a problem known as model drift. One of the most powerful scaling tools is the model router. It's an AI to manage your AIs. Instead of using your most expensive, powerful model for every single task, the router intelligently analyzes the user's request first. Is this a simple request like correcting grammar? The router sends it to a small, fast, and cheap model. Is it a complex, creative request? Only then does it get sent to the big, expensive brain. This single strategy can cut your operational costs by 50 to 80%, making your business vastly more efficient and profitable. At this stage, your marketing also evolves. You stop talking about your amazing AI, nobody cares. You talk about the outcome. You don't sell AI-powered email generation, you sell save your sales team 10 hours a week. But scaling isn't the end goal. In the hyper-competitive world of AI, it's just the table stakes. The final phase is about turning your successful business into an unbreachable fortress. Welcome to the final stage, maturity. By now, your data flywheel isn't a snowball anymore. It's an avalanche. You possess a massive, proprietary dataset of user interactions that is perfectly tailored to your niche. This is your ultimate moat. A new competitor can't just show up and compete because their off-the-shelf AI model will feel stupid and generic compared to your highly trained, specialized intelligence. The next step in building your fortress is deep workflow integration. You move from being a standalone app on a website to being a feature inside the tools your users already live in every day. You become a Salesforce plugin, a button inside Photoshop, a feature within their code editor. The cost of switching away from your product becomes immense because you're now a fundamental part of how they work. You've gone from being a novelty to a necessity. And only now, with millions in revenue, a world-class team, and a unique dataset the size of a small country's library, do you consider the final, ultimate power move, building your own foundational model from scratch. This is the path few will ever take, but it's how you create a 10x cost or performance advantage that makes you the undisputed king of your domain. This entire journey, from a simple idea to an industry leader, follows a single, powerful thread that defines the very nature of building with artificial intelligence.
The journey of an AI-native app is a story of evolution. It begins with pretending to be intelligent. It moves to borrowing intelligence from others. Then it learns to cultivate its own unique intelligence through user interaction. Finally, it becomes an indispensable source of that intelligence for the entire industry. It's a fundamental shift from the old way of building software. You're not just architecting a static tool. You are designing a system to learn. You're not just launching a product. You're raising an intelligence from infancy to maturity. And in a world where anyone can rent a supercomputer, the only thing that truly matters is building something that gets smarter every single day. If you found this blueprint useful, consider subscribing for more deep dives into technology and business strategy. Thanks for watching.